If you're joining live, welcome. So good to see you. If you are catching this as a replay, then thank you for watching and subscribing. Good morning. Good morning. So I've been getting a lot of messages about basically like product usage and people, clients not being able to really love their hair at a shorter length, that they can't wait for it to get long. And I mean, I remember when I was younger and I would wear my hair really long. It was something that needed to happen. It was like my length defined my beauty. And really, when I started doing hairdressing, I worked at a salon out in Connecticut, and it was like a Master Cuts. It wasn't a fancy, well-renowned place. I didn't have like a hair guru mentor that was so amazing and famous to teach me anything. I was basically working with pretty like everyday women, you know, hardworking women who were there to make a career. Good morning, everybody. So I remember sitting, I looked at this, my colleague Nikki, and we were bored. That's how like many clients I did not have. And on our downtime, we would do each other's hair, because why not? We would be like practicing, but really we were just like always trying to shapeshift, which is cool and is great for creatives. But Nikki should never have touched my hair. She definitely, hey Ron, nice to see you. And Tammy, hey, what's up, girl? She should never have touched my hair. You know, I wanted more layers. My hair was here, seriously, and I wanted more layers. And by the time she was done with it, my hair was here and I had a mullet. So if any of y'all have had a mullet in your life at least once, raise your hand. Because they are real, especially when they are not asked for. For some reason, and I know why, but a lot of the times, for some reason, people think layers, and they think like layer you to the heavens, and layer you so much that it hollows out your bottom. So what can happen when you get a really bad haircut is you can feel really hollow around your ears, or maybe you feel uneven. And that's why cutting hair wet for curls doesn't translate into when it's dry. So it took me a good 3 years to grow that out until I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm ready for a new change. And then I was working at a new salon by then, and a wonderful colleague of mine, Krista, she definitely got rid of my like really like gnarly looking ends, and she took me out of a mullet. But then what she gave me was basically a haircut that a hobbit would wear. Like, I look like Frodo's best friend. I look like Frodo's girlfriend. And at first I flipped out. I was like crying. I traumatized this girl. I literally traumatized her. Like, for 2 weeks she didn't really talk to me because she didn't know what to do with me. Had I known what I know now, I wish I can go back in time and tell Krista, like, I'm so sorry I became so upset, but you have to understand that when I sit in someone's chair, even though I'm a hairstylist, I instantly metamorphose into a client. I metamorphose into a vulnerable person who's trusting you with my hair. So it is so important in the consultation to establish not just a mutual agreement, but a mutual understanding and a mutual consent of what is allowed and what is not allowed. If I had been able to go back in time and reiterated what I needed, I would have said, please don't make my layers up here this short, and please don't give me a mullet. I would have had photos of some degree, even if it was of straight haircuts. Like, I would have said, this is what I definitely don't want, and this is what I definitely do want. What are your thoughts? How would you execute this? These are types of words you could use with a stylist. There are plenty of great stylists out there. The truth of it is that a lot of stylists just don't listen. A lot of us don't listen on a daily. We don't listen with our boss. We don't listen with our spouse. We don't listen with our children. Because we are filled with a lot of other thoughts that are going on, or we are not expressing ourselves authentically of what it is that we desire because we don't know what's possible and what's out there. So when you see a photo that you like, that you feel like is similar to something that you desire, I want you to bookmark. So on Instagram, you can bookmark the photos. But here's what's really cool. That little icon that's the bookmark, you can hold it down. It's going to pull up a screen that shows you that you can create albums. You want to press that little plus sign on the top right corner and you want to name the album Dream Hair, or, Hair Goals, or, something that makes you look into the future. It may be for length, it may be for volume, it may be for highlights, colors, something of that sort. And then it's the hairstylist's job to say, okay, I see where you're going. We can achieve this today, or we can achieve this in 6 months. If they're not saying something like that, then that's where I'm making this video to teach you. You can say those things like, is this achievable today? And if not, do you think this would be achievable within the next year? These are really good questions because it puts you on a hair goal plan with your stylist. It starts to build a relationship for you two to not only execute a vision for that day, but to execute a vision for the future. It starts to build communication, understanding, same platform talk. Another example, when you show photos, is create photos that you don't want. Pinterest is really great for this too, because Pinterest has a lot of different options. Instagram, you can only go so far, and mostly because it's of who you're already following, and Instagram kind of has like a personality. Instagram photos look a specific way. They're like tilted down. They're, you don't really have anybody, except unless you're following stylists, you don't really have that many photos of like a head sitting upright. So I would recommend you gravitate more towards photos of people sitting in realistic positions. And I think Pinterest shows more of that, like photo shoots and commercialized looking photos as well. They also have like a lot of personal photo shoots, things that look very intimate. Hey Maura, good to see you, lovey. And when you take those photos, again, you can definitely create those albums. Now, those albums can be of what you do want and what you don't want. And you can go extreme. You can go extreme. One of those photos needs to be a mullet. One of those photos needs to be a mullet. Especially if you're looking for like a tight taper, then you need to show them 0 layers on top. Unless it's for like, styling purposes or to make it like pop a little bit more at the top. But usually you have to look into those types of shapes where it's the opposition of what you want. So if you want a taper, look up mullets. If you want a mullet, then look up tapers. Look up like the complete opposite. Okay, like the first shape that you are sorry, I got distracted. The first shape that you are looking into, like that's pretty much what you want to keep as your go-to. I don't know what just happened to my whole flow right now. Bear with me, I'm human. Stay tuned. And then also, what you don't want, make that album as well. And then just make that very clear with your stylist. Hi, I don't want this. I don't want this. Show them a photo of your childhood. Show them a photo of somebody you saw at the grocery store. Like, take random photos of people. Like, if you see somebody's back of the head where you're like, ooh, that looks like a terrible highlight job in the back, but it looks awesome in the front. Snap a little photo like you're taking a picture of, a box of crackers, and you're just like moving your phone. You're like, clink, clink. That's what I don't want. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as their face isn't in it, they don't know that you did that. I've done that before. Oh my God. I saw this girl with extensions, and they were so bad. And I was getting extensions at the time. And with like my little like flip phone, I tried to take a good photo. Remember flip phones? Doesn't it feel like 100 years ago? Okay, let me see. This is my first time tuning in. I've been doing Curly Girl Method for 4 months, struggling with the question of whether to cut or not. Usually, okay, so Danny, I want to bring that up too. Thank you so much. That's another good part of the conversation. I'm burning my incense, and it's really strong, so I'm going to pop out of my hammock real quick. Ow, I just hit myself in the head with my bar. It happens. I'm okay. Stop burning this because it's like really strong. Woo! Woo! You ever burn incense and you're like, wow, that's intense. I mean, you love it, but then eventually you're like getting a headache and hitting yourself in the head with accessories from your hammock. Okay, so Danny made a really good question. I mean, yeah, she formulated a really good question that brings up a really good topic. Starting in the curly girl world, it's like you want to get a cut, but you don't want to get a cut. You're probably getting new regrowth. You're most likely seeing shrinkage. You're getting a decent amount of volume, or you realize how damaged your ends are, and you're not really happy with the end result of how your sets are coming out, how your curls are coming out, all the product that you're using. Maybe you're tangling a lot. You don't know if you should cut it because you're damaged, or if you should cut it because you're supposed to, because everyone else is telling you to do so online, or you're reading all these articles about like big chops, or you're reading articles about like how to find a stylist in your area. Those are the conversations to have with your stylist in your consultation. And so there are many websites. There's the Diva Curl website. You can find a stylist. There is Cut It Kinky. They have a stylist finder. You can also do Moisture Salon Ron at Moisture Salon in New York. I forgot his website. Sorry, maybe it's moisturesalon.com. I am terrible at this. Check him out. He has a stylist finder. He has a lot of people on there. There's also Rezo Cut, REZO. They have a stylist finder as well. And they can help you with your overwhelmingness, because they understand like each step that is happening in your process at this moment. So don't hesitate to reach out to people who do curly hair. Don't hesitate to reach out to a stylist who isn't like certified in curly, but is a really great listener. Somebody who will take it bit by bit. And yeah, they might cut wet, but they might do it in a way that really works for you. You might be a wavy. Danny, you live in South Africa. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, Danny. Thank you for being here. That's so amazing, South Africa. I will look into that for you and see who I can reach out, see what kind of advice they can give me out there. And good point, Irene. It is overwhelming if you listen to the wrong people. It's also overwhelming if you're looking for hair that you don't have yet, and you keep trying to do techniques and work with products when you're not really sure like what your hair's doing. Aw, Matt, thanks. I love these coffee and curl mornings, even if it's just a short moment. Feeling like you belong goes a long way to start the day. Aw, I'm happy to hear that, Matt. Awesome. Super awesome. So I just want to I'm going to stay on for a little bit, but I'm going to wrap up this part of the video so I can post it on YouTube later today. The points of this conversation is find a stylist who's going to work with you on all levels for the present and the future. Also, work with a stylist who isn't going to like make you feel that what you've achieved is all wrong. I feel like as a stylist, it's really important to not make my clients feel like everything that they know, even if it's the wrong information, is unnecessary information, or that they're stupid or they don't know what they're doing and I'm the one here to like save them and be their savior. No. There is always something that you can find positive and motivational and factual in something that somebody's in, like actions that somebody's doing. So even if they're only co-washing, at least they're trying to understand what moisture feels like, even though they really do need to clarify. But these conversations are supposed to be happening throughout the service. You want to make sure that also, even if the stylist is a little bit on the quiet side, you want to make sure that if you want to see what they're doing, ask for a mirror. That's a big one. If they don't offer you a mirror, just, let them know that you would like to see what's happening, because maybe what they're doing doesn't have an explanation in that moment, and then eventually they'll be talking about it. Everybody educates differently. I talk 100 miles an hour, but there are times where I'm having a day, I'm still hitting the key points, but you have a mirror available for you to watch along with me. And sometimes you're asking questions that have nothing to do with what's happening in the moment. Wait till those questions are necessary to ask. Ask about questions about washing and cleansing while you're being washed and cleansed. Ask about conditioning and detangling while they are conditioning and detangling you. Don't ask about sleep regimen and how to deep condition your hair when it's the first 4 seconds of the appointment. So the service goes like this: consultation, have a wonderful day, Matt. Consultation, haircut, go to the sink, wash, condition, style, dry, follow-up. That is the order of most curly hair experiences. So in that order, you can plan your questions that you've written down in your notebook, because I'm asking you to, because you think you're going to remember, but you're not, because when you're in that chair, you can freeze, you can get really nervous, and you can just be in the moment and forget about everything that you want to do. Put it in your phone if you don't want to do a notebook, because maybe you'll forget your notebook on your kitchen counter like I do all the time, and you won't have the notes that you needed. So you can just to kind of touch base on Joanne's comment, she said, I've always given my power over to the stylist. Now I know better. Here's the thing. You don't have to give your power away just because you're giving someone permission to be doing your hair. So keep that in mind. If you guys are catching the replay, let me know what you think in the comments. Super awesome. I'm going to take some questions. I'm definitely going to be on here for a few minutes, but I'm going to thank everybody who watched, who needs to go, and I'll see you later. All right, so who wants